Just a quick reminder that there are still places available on the photography workshop in Tasmania coming up in July that I'm running with Andrew Dawes. So if you are interested, check out the details on my website. The link is in the description below. Good morning guys. It's been a bit of a rush, I've got to admit, this morning. I just haven't had time to do much vlogging. We camped again in the Sentinel Range area, and we've actually walked up one of the hills just opposite the Sentinel Ranges. You can see the Sentinel Range behind me. It's covered with the granite across the top, just beyond those trees. We didn't think we were going to get much of a sunrise because the gap on the horizon was very, very small, but we couldn't be more wrong. In fact, the whole sky has just exploded in light, and both Andrew Dawes and myself have been running around madly trying to capture the best of that light. You know, it's great when you do get good light as a photographer. There's very little you can do to control how much good light you get. But when you do, as a landscape photographer, there's the pressure on then to try and make the most of it, and that's what we've been doing. We originally came up to this hill, which is opposite the Sentinel Range, to try and capture the Sentinel Range. Hey Andrew, you can just see the light just starting to hit the top of the range. So we've come up to get just that, is to get the Sentinel Range, and just where my finger is, you might be able to just make out that there's a little bit of sunlight just hitting. The sun is rising as we speak. But the hour before that sunrise has been just amazing. We have had light almost 360 degrees. It's incredible. Like, I don't know whether you can make that out, but there's light in the opposite direction to where the sun is. So I took a couple of early shots out towards where the sun was rising to try and feature that mountain there, this guy here. But I wasn't particularly happy with the features. There's not a lot of features there. I had the road in the image as a bit of a leading line. So I've tried to capture an image here. So what I've done is I've used a few of the trees just in the foreground here as a bit of foreground interest. I've got this nice weaving valley just in front of me that goes up towards, I think it's two, it may actually be three smaller hills. And then of course I've got the lake in the background, the hills behind that, and there's just layers and layers and layers of hills. And then I've got the sky. And of course, you look at that sky, if you've ever wanted to know what sort of cloud you should be looking at before the sun sets or before the sun rises, this is the sort of cloud you're hoping to get. It's that high-level cloud. I must admit there is a little bit of mid-level cloud in this, but it's high-level cloud, nice and wispy, breaks towards the horizon, particularly around where the sun is coming up. That's the sort of conditions that are ideal. You'll notice also that we don't have any fog, any low cloud, which is just incredible. I've been swapping out lenses really quickly. I've been swapping between the 17 to 35 to get that nice wide vista, and then I threw on the 24 to 70 to try and get that a little bit closer. So in front of the lens I've got the Lee filters mount, I've got the circular polarizer just to get a little bit more punch and contrast out of the greens, the green grass in front of me and the trees, and then I've got the 0.9 hard grad. Even though I've got hills, it's reasonably flat, so I went with the hard grad as opposed to the soft grad, because the soft grad wasn't able to give me as much. But you can see, probably with from the camera, you can see how there's light. It's lighter at the bottom and then it gets darker the further you go up. So this is probably the ideal time for me to throw on the reverse grad just to see how that goes. So I'll do that after I've stopped speaking to you guys. As far as settings are concerned, I started on f8 and I'm still on f8. I'm on ISO 64, which is the base for the Nikon D850, and that gives me a shutter speed of 1 second. Hence I am on the tripod. So I'm going to grab the remote shutter and we'll take the shot. We're still pointed out towards Gordon Lake, but the sun is a lot higher now. It's still being diffused by the cloud, the thin layer of cloud, so it's a little bit soft. So we're using that soft colour and just capturing a couple of ridges and hills and interesting features in the landscape leading out towards Gordon Lake. I can just see at the moment the tree that I'm using in the foreground for a bit of interest is just catching a little bit of side light from the sun. So hopefully that'll make for a nice image as well. But I suppose one of the lessons in this video is the fact that you might have a plan, but if that plan doesn't look as if it's going to turn out the way that you think, don't be scared of changing that plan, being flexible and adapting to the conditions. I think it's good to head out on a shoot with a bit of a plan, but by no means am I fixed to that plan. If I think there is a better opportunity that comes along because I'm assessing the conditions, because I'm there actually in the landscape, and say, well, as much as I wanted to take photos of the Sentinel Range behind me in actual fact the better image was in the opposite direction, then I'm all for changing that plan, being adaptable, being flexible. Because in the end, it's all about capturing the best image that you can in that moment while you're there in the landscape. So hopefully we've done that today. Well, that was an incredible morning with some beautiful light. I got Andrew Dawes, who's been adventuring just over on the ridge there. How'd you go, mate? What'd you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess I thought I heard you talk about boycotting plans and whatnot, and that's exactly what we did this morning. We came on the other side of the hill. Even though you might think that the interest is behind us, there are just so many rolling hills and features, and they look like meadows, but they're actually bogs, but they catch the light beautifully, and all these moss-covered trees as well. And that awesome range in the background really helps to sort of set the image. So I think it was a pretty good morning. I really enjoyed myself. That's the most light that we've had this trip.
Yeah.
So
the nicest colour, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a full gamut of the pastels, so that was really good.
Hopefully we've captured some of it on some images.
Yep.
If you do want to check out the images that Andrew has captured in this little shoot, then head over to his channel, Adventuring 2, and it'll be there. If you enjoyed the video or any of the images that I captured, please give the video a like. It really does help. If this is the first time to my channel, check out some of my other landscape adventures, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload my next video. But until next time, guys, thanks very much for watching.